All right, and we are live in all the places that we go live. This is Morning Journal, session number 288. Thank you all for watching and listening in. We're right in the middle of the conversation now. The first question is, who are you wearing? Who are you wearing? If you've ever watched red carpet for one of those fancy award shows and events, that's one of the questions they often ask the celebrities and the movie stars as they walk the carpet and do their little interviews. It's like the whole point is just to highlight the fashion. So who are you wearing? An interesting thing that I came across, and I think I might have known it, but I was just reminded of it, that the word for habit, or the word habit, originally was used to talk about the clothes that you wear. I mean, it's still used in limited capacity. You know, a nun wears a habit, but it used to be generally talked about as the word habit stood for the clothes that you're wearing. So when I ask the question, who you are wearing, it's really a question about who has influenced you. Where did you pick that up? You know? I don't know if you've ever heard or seen a parent interacting with a child, and the child does something that seems out of character. Like, hey, where'd you pick that up? Where'd you get that from? So we have these habits, we have these things that we are wearing. So think about the ones that are having the biggest impact on you, where they might have come from, and consider the question, who are you wearing? Johnny Tim, thank you so much for the likes. Tim said, this is my favorite question ever. I'm glad that you enjoyed this question. Gives you something to think about. Johnny's like, can you please elaborate? Johnny must not have been listening. Johnny, what part did you miss? Can you ask a more specific question? I'll be glad to. Ask a little bit more of a specific question, and I'll be glad to say more about it. I know sometimes I know there's some idioms in the specific language that might not translate, so. Baby Acid is here. Johnny, I would say probably, let me elaborate on, so you're talking about someone we follow, so we might be acting like him. It could be that. Someone that you follow, somebody who has influenced you. For sure. It could be that. And I think we might elaborate more depending on some of the responses that we get. And that might clear things up a little bit. Izzy's back. Now I got to explain this shit to Izzy. Oh man. That's the danger, or that's the challenge of doing the types of questions that I really want to do live, because, you know, kind of getting everybody up to speed when they come in mid-sentence. But hey, it is what it is. Izzy's like, yo, it's mad kids on here right now. Izzy says, I'm wearing me, baby. I'm wearing me. He's like, nah, fam, I get it. Oh, man. Giselle, thank you for the like. Miss Fire, thank you for the like. Miss Fire says, my crush. I'm so joyful. I'm wearing my crush. I'm so joyful. Tim says, this so good I can't answer. I think I'm an array of all the people I love, taking something from each person mixed with a little weird stuff thrown in by me. So your outfit is just all over the place. Got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Real funky and eccentric, but somehow you pull it together and make it work. I dig that. I think we all are wearing an array of people. And one of the important things about, I think, creative maturity and just sort of maturity as an adult and a person is being able to recognize and acknowledge those things that we're wearing. Some of the stuff we're wearing, we don't even want to wear. We don't even realize we got it on. You know, we wearing stuff that's throwing off the whole outfit, but you call your attention to it. It's like, I need to pull this off. This don't go. And nobody ain't even tell you nothing. They're letting you walk around look crazy. You dress for the wrong occasion. Noble Ancient says, I'm wearing my origin and his powerful human aspects. I am intrigued by the human condition. I'm also wearing my ancientness in every way I can, whenever I can. In every way I can and whenever I can, I'm wearing my ancientness. Alexis is here. Naruto is here. Welcome in. Who are you wearing, folks? That's the question that we are talking about. Noble is a combination of the origin, which I don't know exactly what you mean by that, but that's fine. And wearing your ancientness. Miss Fire says, I used to not like to wear socks, and then them shoes started stanking, and you reconsidered. Got them sour shoes. Got them Parmesan cheese feet. Your feet smell Parmesan. Got the Parmesan cheese. So Joselle says, I definitely say my parents. I look up to them a lot and love them. Well, it's great to have the type of relationship with your parents that they provide the type of example that you want to live into. And I think that's the main responsibility I think that we have is as a future ancestor, whether we are ancestors to our own progeny, our own lineage, people who proceed from us biologically, or we're just ancestors to the future generations that live in the world that we help create. I think the best that we can do is hope to give people an example to live into. And when you can do it within your family, that's even That's even better. So that's awesome, Giselle. All right. So, for those of you who came in during the tail end of this question, the original meaning and usage of the word habit, it referred to clothes or outfits, things that you wear. So this next question is tied to this one through that original meaning of the word habit. And it's this right here. Before we get to it, we got one more response. Johnny says, I'm wearing the most complicated and weirdest mind. I would love to remove it from time to time. Removing your mind is not impossible. Removing your mind is not removing your brain. The mind and the brain are two different things. So you can absolutely remove the mind just by quieting it down. Okay, we are resetting now, folks. Izzy says, eat some mushrooms. You can remove your mind, free yourself, get a little bit psychedelic, a little bit. Johnny says, oh, I already did that, fam. Say, I'm way ahead of yous. I'm way ahead of yous on that one. Hi, Rebecca. Welcome in. The question that we're considering right now. What new habit would change the way you see yourself? Before we answer that one, let's get some clarity. Before we answer that one, let's answer this one first. I see myself as. Let's start with where we are. And of course, we can be boastful and brash and cocky with it, or sometimes you might be a little vulnerable with it. So I see myself as. Answer any way you like. We are all a lot of different things, so you can just choose one. Think about right now. We had a question yesterday, who are you today? So this is sort of a spin on that same question. I see myself as, just fill in the blank. Rebecca, thank you so much for the like. I appreciate it. Hey, y'all, we made it to number 1. How about that? I see myself as. Let's see, wait a minute. Okay. Give you a quiet moment to consider this question. I see myself as. Miss Fire says, cute, beautiful, strong, intelligent, growing. Intelligent, growing, empathetic, genuine, loving, effective, friend, vulnerable, impacted, regular, regular, there is this whole idea of there's, in most cases, there is like the regular kind. Seth Godin talked about the idea of the regular kind. When we don't want to kind of step outside of the box or the norm, we just go for the regular kind. It's a safe bet, right? You're going to be all right. You got your little go-tos. It's comfortable. Let's just give me the regular kind. It's all right. Ain't nothing, I don't need to be doing too much. I'll just take the regular kind. And I guess there's a comfort in that regularity that we can have. And it kind of gives us some sanity and some space to not always have to make these choices that strain our capacity to hold that discomfort. Regular is familiar. Yeah. Regular is unexceptional. And I don't mean that pejoratively. I mean that just by definition. Someone said before that in an earlier response said, I always knew that I would be average. And in most things, that's going to be true. It's like, oh, I'm nothing special. I'm regular, average. Sometimes though, when we describe ourselves that way, we are being self-deprecating. We have a sense of, or maybe a habit of, making ourselves small, making ourselves smaller than we are to let ourselves off the hook from being what we could be. It's not always true, but sometimes it is. Sometimes we are letting ourselves off the hook from what we could be. And, nobody's all that they can be all the time. But if you feel a little sense of discontent, and when you start looking back over the course of time, the regret creeps in, not from the things that you did wrong. We make mistakes, and sometimes we feel a little regret, true, for some things, mistakes that we made. But I think the biggest regrets are from the things that we didn't do, that we could have done, that are no longer possible for us. So when we look at ourselves that way, we have to be careful that we are not escaping the responsibility of living into our potential. You don't have to say nothing about it. You can present yourself any way you want. You don't have to have bang your drum and talk about how good you are at anything. You could just be good and say nothing, right? You don't have to define yourself in any way. You don't have to say I'm good, I'm bad. You just let what you do speak for you. And in a lot of ways, it's not your job to assess how good you are. It's the job of the person who is impacted by what you do to assess how good you are. So we're looking at how we see ourselves, and a lot of times the way we see ourselves, it doesn't match up with the way that others see us, and that's fine. That's fine. But yeah, just a little riff on the word regular and the different ways that shows up. Only you know what you mean when you say it, but there are a lot of different ways that type of language, when we describe ourselves, there are a lot of different ways it can work on you. So I see myself. Rebecca says, I see myself as me and I love me to the fullest. To two E's. I love me to the fullest. I love me like my life depends on it. So Noble Ancient says, I see myself as two powerful souls working together in the same vessel of a body, one human and one ancient. Origin and I are in the same mind and body here. Two souls working in the same body. That sounds almost like schizophrenia. All right. Johnny says, I see myself as Johnny. I see myself as Johnny. Just simple. Y'all go ahead and do me a solid. Do me a solid and drop some green hearts in the chat as we go through the rest of these responses. Take a second to drop some green hearts in the chat. I see myself as Johnny's just Johnny, baby. I'm just Johnny. Giselle says, I see myself as a friendly person and caring. I hope I can put off that vibe that people can talk to me and trust me. It's like, I'm cool. I'm friendly. I hope that's what I'm giving, because that's what I'm feeling. That's my intention. One of the most difficult things to do is to just relax and let the truth of who we are in the moment show up. To not be self-conscious in the moment and allow what we are feeling to be enough in the moment. So Alexis says, I see myself as a distorted reality. Body dysmorphia makes me have a different view of myself than what the mirror really shows. While I recognize that I do so, it is really hard to change it. So Alexis is referring to their physical appearance and presentation, what they see. So I see myself as now that we've kind of established that, we can jump into the question that I flashed on the screen briefly. So Alan is here. What's happening? What's happening, Alan? What's crack-a-lacking? I was gonna try to drop that in there first. I know that's your typical greeting. Hey man, we can't call it. We ain't here doing our thing. All right. So this question, we're gonna reset the request box and consider what new habit would change the way that you see yourself. What new habit would change the way that you see yourself? And of course, maybe you don't want to change anything. Maybe you wouldn't change a thing. But sometimes we can recognize that we have areas of desired growth, right? So let's think about this for a second. What new habit, what new thing can you put on? Remember, a habit is like clothing. So what new thing can you put on that can change the way you see yourself? A couple different songs come to mind that I can't play right now. Change clothes. Oh, I put on. Yeah. What new habit can you change? Can you would change the way you see yourself. So I've been keeping a little eye on the chat with Rebecca's like, I've been on the phone all night with Boo, who say he ain't Boo, who don't know he Boo. Rebecca's over there constructing a covert contract. Rebecca over there weaving the web, constructing a covert contract. Sometimes you have to remember that, you know, a yes that comes after okie doke is not necessarily a real yes. Okie dokie. Got that okie doke. Here we go. What new habit? So Miss Fire says, some fingernail polish and getting my hair done consistently. I'd feel more girly. I'd feel more girly if I got my hair did and painted my fingernails. Tim says, you know how when someone sings so well, you feel emotional and the sounds moves through you? That's how you feel right now? All right, well, I'm glad that the prompts are hitting today. Got brand new, fresh ones for you for the most part. Giselle, thank you so much for the like. I'm thinking so hard every time I say your name now. So Noble says, I could actually get a specific tattoo that I have had a long time ago. A crafter's emblem of sorts. Get that tattoo sort of as a reminder to yourself. Get that crafter's emblem. Johnny says, in the meditation, I can really feel that I am nothing but my thoughts. Even my identity is temporary and always changing. I'm just a life in a body with the flow, going with the flow of time. So you can feel the ephemeral nature of your identity in meditation, and maybe something to do with them mushrooms too, right? So that habit of contemplation has given you a different view of what Johnny is exactly. Like, what is Johnny exactly? Two-turn Taylor. Taylor two-turn to be in here this morning. That's why they left so quick. Oh man. So, new habit that would change the way you see yourself. Alexis says the change that would make me see myself in a different way would be to have a healthy relationship with food. It looks like eating regularly and having nutrients in what I choose to feed my body. So eating things that nourish you is a habit that could change the way that you see yourself. Rebecca says, I done this a few years back with my whole aesthetic. I was like, you know what? I want to please my inner child and be a princess. Now, boom, I'm the pink princess. So how long ago? You said a few years back. When did this transformation take place? When did the fairy godmother come through and say bibbidi bobbidi? Got the wand out on you legit like 3 years ago. So okay. Alexis will be right back. Okay, Alexis. Noble Ancient says Lady Rebecca, the Pink Princess, name and title. Like, how old is Bex? But it was more than just changing clothes. Yeah, definitely. The clothes, they're just a story that you tell yourself, right? You say it's the whole lifestyle. It's my lifestyle. All right. Giselle says, I would stay more organized, stay more put together. In the end, I feel better as a person. So let me just put myself together a little bit. You know, maybe I'll put myself together, get a little organized. So Rebecca had a birthday recently. I'm pretty sure it came out then. And I think I know, but I ain't gonna say. All right. So Giselle says, no, let me just be more organized. Mochi, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. The question that we had is, what habit would make you help change the way you see yourself? Noble, thank you so much for the like. Appreciate it. Okay. Let's get ready to go into the next prompt. So this one, what goal is worth working for? What goal is worth working for? So a lot of times, if you want to conceptualize transformation as a series, or sort of as a hierarchy or order list of priorities to make meaningful change that sticks, it goes something like identity, and then habits, and then the goals. If you put the goal first without working on your identity and your habits, then you are doomed. Because you won't believe, no matter how much you know you have it out there, but there's something in you that doesn't see yourself as the type of person who could do that. So we started by looking at sort of who you see yourself as, how you see yourself, then looking at your habits. So those reinforce and help define that ephemeral identity that you have. As Johnny says, we are not a fixed and permanent thing. We're moving through time. And that non-fixedness in time is really to our advantage because we can still do stuff. So Mo is just sleeping. AFK. I'm glad that you popped in though. It's always great to see you. Emma says, I'll just be over here in the corner. Don't mind me. It's all good. So, what is a goal worth working for? Taking into consideration how you see yourself, the habits that you are wearing, maybe the ones that you are trying to instill or install in yourself. Having something that's worth striving for, having something that's worth working for is sort of like the gas in the engine. It's got to be meaningful to you specifically, or else, it's hard to maintain. It's got to make you want to get up in the morning, right? So what is that for you? What is a goal worth working for? So, Giselle, I'm telling you, it takes me 5 seconds to compute how to say your name every time. Giselle says, I would not say #1 charts with my OG music, original music, but just to get it out to the world. I love how I feel a sense of completion when doing music. So that's a really smart goal, because you are not focusing on the part that is not in your control. Like, your part is getting it out there. #1, making it #1, that's other people's business to a certain degree. You want to get it out there. You want to be as good as you can be. So that's a really smart goal worth working for, because it's going to lead to growth. It's going to lead to growth. Rebecca says, can I be the goal that's worth working for? Of course, Rebecca wants to be the subject of the question for someone else. Yeah, like upgrading your life in general. So yeah, your future self, the vision that you have of yourself in the future, that could be the goal, but you might want to be specific and think about what that person looks like, what future Rebecca looks like, what are the contents of your life and experience in the future, and make that the thing. Because in order for the goal to have any teeth, it gives you a clue what you want to do when you get up in the morning to make it happen. It's explicit. It's explicit in giving you sort of a roadmap that you're going to follow. So an upgrading to what? What are we upgrading? Yeah, so y'all knows they asking for a specific. Hey, you don't have to share it, but as you think about it, it's helpful for you just to think about it in that way, so that when you say what it is, it actually can be operative in your life. And it's not just like a platitude. Oh yeah, I'm just going to get better, All right. So for Miss Fire, the goal worth working for is school. The crush is super supportive. If I add habits like self-care, it will be that much easier. So pursuing the education is worth it, but you need to take care of yourself to make that happen, for sure. So for Johnny, it is trying to have some fun while growing every single day. So Giselle says, I got to go to school, man. Well, we'll see you soon. Thank you so much for being here. I'm glad that we can help you get your day started. Hopefully do you go school year round or what? Should be about wrapped up, ain't it? All right. Let's see what we got here. So having fun and growing every single day. Noble Ancient says, my goal worth working for is to eventually unlock full status Noble Ancient. Full status Noble Ancient. With Origin on standby in the background. With Crafter's emblem and a few other changes too to reach my full potential. All right. Hi, Chanel. Looks like Chanel's having some technical difficulties. Here we go. So we got Noble unlocking that full status, living into that future self fully. Alexis says, being healthier is a goal worth working for. It involves managing chronic pain, losing weight, changing behaviors to create a more normal relationship with food. So there's some behavior change in the offing to get there. Being intentional about managing your pain so that you can function and achieve other goals. Noble Ancient says, would you expect that from me, G? Well, the new wrinkle that you've added to your responses today has been the idea of origin. So, all right. So here we go. Let's get ready to go into the next prompt in our journey today. So this is a question to think about, because our emotions are such a huge driver, a huge piece of what makes change possible for us, what makes achievement of our goals possible for us. Our emotional state has a huge part to play in how well we can sustain the level of action, the way we can hold the momentum that's required to actually achieve what we're looking for. And feeling successful gives you confidence and allows you to keep going. It's that positive reinforcement, that loop of positive feedback, that feeling of possibility, like I can do this. We need doses of that along the way to sustain us in the long term. So think about how that emotion shows up for you, and then under what circumstances do you feel most successful? What are the components of that feeling of accomplishment, success? All right, Alexis, have a good day. Rebecca, thank you so much for the like. Tim, thank you for the like. When do you feel most successful? So there's always going to be a struggle phase when you are working towards something that's difficult, when you are facing a new challenge, when you make a fresh commitment in a certain direction. There's going to be a struggle phase that's extremely frustrating. and makes you just want to, man, you know? But then on the other side of that struggle phase, and you get those little wins. So you have to have a way to get those little wins, to feel successful, to kind of keep your emotional temperature at a level that you can sustain, or that can sustain you. Miss Fire says, when I show up authentically, I called out a group for stealing my work, and it felt real good, hopeful, needed, authentic. Miss was like, yo, stop biting, yo. Stop biting. Rebecca says, I feel successful when I can turn a no into a yes. Not Rebecca out here changing hearts and minds. Hey, baby, I'm changing hearts and minds out here. Rebecca says, I could be real convincing. I could be real persuasive. I have my ways. Noble Ancient says, I feel most successful when I receive feedback that my games are fun and exciting. When I can entertain others, my successful level rises and add extra positivity to my day's adventure. So feedback gives you a sense of success. And there's a way in which any feedback, if you hold it the right way, any feedback can be taken as a win, because a lot of times the feedback answers questions that we may have had. Feedback adds another level of clarity to what it is that you're working on. And I think clarity is something that should always be celebrated, right? Okay, so now I know. I mean, when you're coming from a place of an understanding that there are always some things that you don't know with regards to what you're doing, you don't have all the answers. So when you have the attitude of being curious, then any feedback that can add some clarity and deepen your understanding of what it is that you're working on can be met with a lot of gratitude. So you don't have the answers. So you don't have the answers. How, Sway? How? So Noble adds, constructive criticism is successful feedback. Learning as much as teaching. For sure. Johnny says, I am most successful. I feel most successful when I am enjoying my breath. When I'm enjoying my breath, I feel most successful. I could dig it. Uh-oh, Noble is being borrowed. Noble is being borrowed. All right. I wonder what that means. All right. Well, y'all stop it. Y'all, you the one that said it, G. You know. All right. So here we are. Let's take a second and let's take a look back. Let's take a look back over the questions that we've covered thus far in the session. Kind of put a bow on it. The primary questions. All right. Let me reset the request box for you and review these questions. I see myself as blank. And I admit I moved that question down because it was very similar to the one that preceded it in the check-in section. The check-in question that we had was, what? How was that question worded? How was the check-in worded? Something like, deep down, I always knew. And a lot of people answered with questions that referred to the way that they see themselves. So I moved this question down in the order, and I think it still worked out well. But I see myself, the way you see yourself is the sort of starting point, because a lot of times we have a hard time transcending the concept that we have of ourselves. It's hard for us to sustain anything that we don't see ourselves, that doesn't seem like us. If it doesn't seem like us, it's hard for us to keep doing it. So we have to start working with the way that we see ourselves. Then the next question is, who are you wearing? Who are you wearing? Looking at that in the context of the way it's traditionally used in these red carpet events, the first question is like, who is that? And then they talk about their designer, the designer of their clothes, but the original usage of habit means clothes. So looking at who you're wearing, it's like, who designed you? Who put this together? Who are the people who are influencing the way that you are showing up? So then we went into looking at the habit that would change the way you see yourself, goals worth working for, and how. What it is that makes you feel most successful. So drop a key takeaway. What is your key takeaway from today's session? We'll take a second for that. Carol, thank you for being here. Thank you for the like. Hope that things are going well for you. You or y'all. I don't know if both twins are listening. So Rebecca, we did affirmations today. You just was late. I mean, you were already up. I don't know what you were doing. You could have been in here if you were already up, but I guess you had to wrap that conversation up with your boo thing. You know, but it's important that you talk to your boo thing. You got to talk to Boo Thaniel. Trying to change Nathaniel to Yathaniel. You got to do your thing. So what key takeaways? Noble says, I have returned. Congratulations. Tim says, this was a beautiful set. Life is beautiful. It's okay to see others in yourself. We are all a combination of our environments. We are all a combination of our environments. For sure. So Noble is back now. Maybe we can get a key takeaway for everyone who is watching on YouTube and all those other places. Thank you for being here. We'll be back with you again tomorrow for Friday for session 290. We're going to hang out with our VIPs for the last half hour or so. So peace out.